So Teemill is a dedicated circular economy supply chain and e-commerce platform. It starts from a few simple facts. 60% of clothing in the world is made out of plastic, and only 1% of that is ever turned into new clothes when they're worn out. And so this creates an industry where a truck full of clothing is sent to landfill and incinerated or buried every second. So we created Teemill to solve these issues, essentially. Welcome to Albany. This is our biggest fulfillment warehouse here on the Isle of Wight in East Cowes. It's 30,000 square foot, and it was opened during lockdown when we were working with a lot of big influencers like Joe Wicks and Yoga with Adrian, and raising over £1 million for the NHS, and we just needed to expand into a bigger space. So let's go in and start the tour. So once you make a design, it's stored on the cloud, and then as soon as someone places an order, we will fulfill that individually and send it straight to the customer. So what will happen is that it will come into our system, into the factory closest to the customer, and then we will find one of these labels which shows exactly where the item is. So it'll say the row, it'll say east or west, and then the letter on the floor in the section where it is, and then a number for which actual pick face it's in. And so one of our team members will be able to come in here and look into the pick face and pick out the item. And these are all blanks, so they're unprinted, which means that we can print on demand only what's needed when it's needed, and there's no waste and no overproduction. All of these pick faces are heat mapped, which means that products can move around as they're needed. So it being winter, we might be selling more jumpers or sweaters. So we would put those closer to where our team members are so they can find them more easily. And things like vest tops might go towards the back and come back out in summer. So it means that we're constantly iterating and making sure that the factory works as best as possible to make our team members' jobs easier, faster, and more efficient. So the next stage, once an item's been picked, is pre-treating. And we only have to do this on colored products. Because there's already dye in the fabric, we need to lay a layer of pre-treat on the top so that the dye for the print doesn't actually penetrate. And that means we're able to separate that more easily from the fabric and keep the feedstock really clean when we do remill. Now, we've had to create our own mix of chemicals for this because we wanted something that could be GOTS certified organic and water-based and still compatible with both our printers and our remill process. Now, in the future state of the remill process is that we are going to start taking back items from other brands, and that will mean that the materials are a bit more mixed and a bit more complicated to process. So at that point, we will probably be separating the printed parts from the unprinted parts to keep the feedstock as pure as possible. But for the moment, we are able to use all of our own products and make sure that the entire system works for remill. So as you can see, we're now standing in a bit of an artificial greenhouse, and that's because we like to keep everything as energy efficient as possible. And that means that because the printers need heat, but other parts of the production process don't, we create this structure to keep all of the heat in as much as possible, especially on colder days. So once an item comes through, it'll be pre-treated and then brought through to here. It'll be put on one of these printers, and then the design will load up on the screen of what we're expecting it to print. Someone will, of course, check that it's the right design, and then it will go in, and it is printed sort of like your printers at home, line by line, with the inks mixed in real time so that there's no ink waste as well. And it only takes about 90 seconds to do the entire process. The print will come out all in color, and then it will be put into the dryer to be dried and then sent off to packing. 2 million tons of textile waste is produced every year worldwide, and 40% of clothing production across the industry is never utilized. By utilizing a print-on-demand system, it means we can make what people need only when they need it, and make sure that if there are any issues with the design or if we want to change something, we can do it on the spot without wasting any dye or material. So you might have noticed that all these items are moved around the factory on these totes on rails. In most factories, you would have a conveyor belt, but of course that needs energy to run. And so for energy efficiency, we've designed this gravity-fed system that moves items from place to place wherever they need to be in the factory, so that our teams don't have to carry anything, and they also get what they need when they need it. So they will take an item say from the printing line, print it, and then put it onto wherever else it needs to go, whether that's packing or waiting as part of a larger order. And it just means that we can be more energy efficient and also help our team out with the efficiency of their work and with energy saving. The final step in the production process is packing. So items will come down here when an order is ready, and we will pack them into one of these bags. These are made of FSC certified sustainably sourced paper, and this is one of the ways that we use tech to make sustainability affordable and financially viable for the business. Printing on demand and storing orders in the cloud means that we can ship from the factories closest to the customer and keep shipping costs low as well. And even on bulk orders, we make sure that we ship everything by sea freight instead of air to save the carbon emissions there as well. We have forecasting algorithms that tell us how much stock we'll need of each product at any given time. And that means that we can maintain 99% stock across all Teemill stores, despite using slower and more sustainable forms of transport.
How does Teemill create value from the circular economy?
So the value, the way we see it, is in the material and the energy. So we make sure that we invest in those from the beginning and then keep them in the loop to retain that as a business. And that's how we're able to keep competitive business margins.
So how do you measure how circular Teemill is? Do you use any KPIs?
Yeah, so essentially at a systems level, we measure everything that comes in and everything that goes out. And by creating a baseline of how a typical traditional business as usual product would work, we can then compare those and say a circular product achieves X compared to business as usual. So for example, we know that one of our Remill t-shirts, by being put through Remill, has saved 7 kilograms of CO2 and 4,500 litres of water.
And what about the end of life of products? How do you ensure they don't end up in landfill?
So I have some props for this one. So this is one of our Remill t-shirts. All of our t-shirts come with this label, and it has a QR code, and it says essentially send me back to be remade. And there's also a link to our Remill fiber page where people can send stuff back. The most important thing that I hope people take away from this is that there are real solutions out there, and we are solving the issues of waste and pollution and helping the textile industry become a bit better for the future. And I think with systems like we've developed, we've made sure that it's really, really affordable and easy to get involved. And so whether you're a big business or a small business, an individual looking to pivot what you're already doing or just start something new, this is a way that you can do that with no upfront cost. And you can just sort of test it out, you know, do a case study on sustainable workwear or something and just get involved, because the future is circular financially and for the planet. It is just a better way to do things, and a lot of people are looking for a way to get involved, and this is one of the ways you can do that.
That's great, yeah, thank you, and thank you so much for the tour and your time today.
Thank you for coming.